Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Today, we're going to talk about H.R. Bill 420. On January 9, 2019, House Representative Earl Blumenauer introduced H.R. Bill number 420 to the House of Representatives. This bill was to provide for the regulation of marijuana products and for other purposes. This bill gained some immediate notoriety for its playful nod to the subject with the number 420, but is in fact a relatively simple bill designed to legalize and decriminalize marijuana. After passing through several subcommittees, the bill gained the title the Regulate Marijuana Like Alcohol Act because of its similarities to the way alcohol is taxed and regulated.
When we come together as a society and we put our faith in government to be a neutral arbitrator of a baseline set of standards to create or to administer a civil society, we have to ask, what is just, what is verdant, what is compassionate? And after over 80 years of the federal policy of prohibition, 13% of the population still, on a at least semi-regular basis, chooses to consume marijuana. And yet, we have individuals who are routinely targeted by law enforcement and have their lives ruined as a result of an interaction with law enforcement over simple possession, oftentimes simple possession of marijuana. Marijuana charge is, carries a social stigma, which results in individuals having a more difficult time having access to employment, housing, healthcare, higher education, and the list goes on from there. So it fundamentally criminalizes one sixth of our population for a choice that they make with a substance that by every measurable metric is less harmful than legal and regulated alcohol, than legal and regulated tobacco, than legal and regulated McDonald's. Mm-hmm. So while we work on reforming marijuana laws, the issue is only tangentially about marijuana. It's really about personal freedom and making sure that the state isn't criminalizing behavior of otherwise law-abiding adults.
The most basic parts of this bill are designed to strike the word marijuana from several acts defining felony drugs, and to add it to the list of substances controlled by the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, rather than the Drug Enforcement Administration. Under this bill, the sale and growth of marijuana will require a permit from the U.S. Secretary of the Treasury, and any illegal marijuana transactions will result in a fine of no more than $1,000. This is an enormous departure from the way marijuana has been treated by the U.S. legal system since it was criminalized in 1937.
But lawmakers are infamous for only going as far as they feel like they have to do. And when it comes to creating structural reforms in public policy, it really requires the public to stand up, speak out, and demand action.
Do you think there's still value in introducing these bills, even if they don't have a chance?
Absolutely. No, I mean, the art of, or the act of politics is the art of the possible. And by introducing these bills, by having lawmakers talk about them, by giving something for constituents to reach out to their lawmakers and express their support for, it allows us to continue to have the conversation. Now, because nothing changes in a vacuum. So, by introducing these various types of bills, different, people will step up and talk about them.
One of the greatest advantages of the Regulate Marijuana Like Alcohol Act, if it were to pass, would be to reduce the massive number of people being incarcerated over this substance. In 2017, there were almost 700,000 people arrested for marijuana charges. 90% of these arrests were for possession only. On the other hand, this bill falls far short when it comes to the number of people already incarcerated for marijuana charges. There is nothing in the Regulate Marijuana Like Alcohol Act which would allow previously arrested citizens to revisit their cases or apply for early probation, which would be an extremely important step when it comes to massive decriminalization of marijuana.
Actually, I don't have a problem with the bill.
Okay.
I think the bill is a good idea. I mean, marijuana is one of your less, I guess you want to call it, bad drugs. Mm-hmm. I don't see there's that in alcohol. You know, alcohol's just as bad for you, if you want to call it that way. Side effects of alcohol are bad. They cause, the intoxication aspect of it. Marijuana has intoxication, a different factor, but I see them similar. I don't see no difference between marijuana and alcohol. The only problem I see with when they start to legalize certain things, especially, let's say, marijuana, have you all paid any attention to what happened in California with their legalization?
No,
and even Colorado. Colorado started where it all started.
Right.
Instead of it being, they refer to it as the black market. So they take away the idea of the illegal trade, the illegal sale of drugs. They talk it as a black market. They changed just the term. So the black market in Colorado, not as much as in California, skyrocketed. It went up. And you would think, well, they legalized it, so illegal drug sales should have dropped. But it didn't. It had the opposite effect. And it's because whenever you legalize something, what's their real reason of legalization? Your opinion.
Tax.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. It's tax. What happens when you tax things? Who takes the brunt of the tax?
Government?
No, not the brunt. Who gets the tax, but who has to pay the tax? The people. Customers. Well, who usually in society, think of it this way, in society, everybody pays the tax. Well, who can afford the tax? Usually the blue-collar, working class, and the rich, richer people. They buy, you go buy alcohol, you pay tax. Alcohol is not that expensive. If you look at beer, I'm talking a lot of people who drink beer. But when California taxed their marijuana, it was a certain tax, and there was not just a tax on it for the person, but there was a growing tax and all that, so it raised the cost. So let's say you buy a little bag for $10 on the street. Mm-hmm. If you bought it legally,
when you get a chance.
Yeah. That $10 now might be $25. But if you're a working poor to poor, are you going to be able to afford $25 for a bag? No, you're going to go back to buying the $10 bag. So that's the only problem I see when government taxes. It hurts the people they claim they're trying to help.
Here's an email we got from the office of Earl Blumenauer, the man who introduced this bill. The purpose of our bill is to provide a simple and immediate solution to federal criminalization of marijuana. Alcohol has had so much regulation put in place by so many lawmakers that we reasoned that the least complicated way to legalize marijuana was to take the legislation already available for alcohol and retool it into effective marijuana policy. The first steps are the most important, especially for something as deeply stigmatized as marijuana, and we believe that H.R. Bill 420 is a firm and sensible step in the right direction. We did not include relief for people currently in jail in this bill because the people arrested for federal marijuana charges only make up about 4% of all those jailed over the drug. We believe that justice for people already in jail will have to happen at the state and local levels.
Additionally, this bill and its partner bill in the Senate have gained 26 co-sponsors. While this means that there is some support in Congress for marijuana legalization, it is still unlikely that this particular bill will pass. Despite this, the existence of the bill, the title-gaining media buzz, and the 26 co-sponsors are all factors that will likely contribute to serious drug reform in the near future.